Hi, I'm George Beck. I'm a market development specialist with Alligare and a retired professor of weed science from Colorado State University. I served in that position for 31 years and did a lot of field research evaluating numerous herbicide molecules and their effects on various weeds in both pasture and rangeland, open space, a lot of noxious weed research, and even some bare ground as well. We're in a field setting today near Longmont, Colorado, where Dr. Scott Nissen from Colorado State University has been conducting bare ground research on our behalf for a number of years. It's a very badly infested site with a number of different weed species, annuals and perennials. As you can see, it's quite the mess. It's been badly abused over the years, probably calving ground or beet dump. But it supports a very healthy population of weeds, both perennial and annual. We have curly dock, poverty sumpweed, cheatgrass, kochia, Russian thistle. I'm sure there's even a dandelion or two out here, but it represents a grand opportunity for us as a company to learn how our products perform. Alligare relies on a herbicide called Promenade to control emerging seedlings of annual and perennial weeds. The herbicide molecule is flumioxazin and is registered in a number of crops in the United States and has been for years. Flumioxazin is a PPO inhibitor, and we combine that herbicide with herbicides with different mechanisms of action to guard against the development of herbicide resistance. Alligare's Keystone Bare Ground programs are built around Promenade as a base, and we'll mix it with another herbicide like an imidazolone or sulfonylurea. In this particular study, we're using our new liquid formulation of Promenade as the base. Imazapyr 4SL is an imidazolone herbicide. It was very broad spectrum, has annual, perennial, and biennial weed activity, and also controls some woody species, and so it's considered to be non-tree safe. Panoramic is another imidazolone herbicide that is a Imazapyr. It is very broad spectrum, not as broad as Imazapyr, but because it has no woody activity, is considered tree safe. Laramie 25DF is rimsulfuron, a sulfonylurea herbicide, which is very selective, has no woody activity, and it too is considered to be tree safe. Alligare is still investigating through research and always looking for new herbicides to mix into our bare ground programs in the effort to manage against the occurrence of herbicide resistance. And we'll use an auxin herbicide, an HPBD herbicide, or something else that would broaden the scope of mechanisms of action in the mixes. Herbicides were applied on January 14th and March 23rd to create our winter and spring application timings. When data were collected 1 month after the spring timing, the performance of all bare ground programs was similar and at or above an 80% retreatment threshold. When data were collected 2 months after the spring treatment or 4 months after the winter treatment, performance of our Keystone programs was similar whether applied in winter or spring and at or above the 80% retreatment threshold, with the exception of Promenade plus Panoramic, which was just less consistent than that spring applied program, and bindweed and curly dock were probably the problems that caused the decreased performance. The soil residual of Laramie, when Promenade plus Laramie was applied in the winter, was not prolonged. We noticed a bump in bare ground performance when we added Milestone to our Keystone programs, but it was not statistical in nature. But when we add Milestone to Promenade plus Laramie, we did see a statistical increase in bare ground performance. The addition of mesotrione did not alter our Keystone bare ground performance. And at this time, the key learning element to take away from this experiment is that the early bare ground application timing must be moved back into late November or early December to observe the enhanced performance we've seen in the past.